Now that you've beaten Pokemon Legends Z-A, you're probably wondering, what can I do in the post-game? So the first feature that unlocks right after you beat the main story is going to be the Infinite Z-A Royale. This is different from the Royale that you've been doing all game because now you have 3 battle zones that you have access to, which means it'll be a lot more efficient. And each night you have to get 50,000 points to get a challenger ticket, and then you can have a night boss that you can defeat and get infinite rewards. Here's a chart somebody put together that's very useful that you can take a look at and see what different items you can get, and they each have a percentage chance of you getting them. And depending on how much of a win streak you have, you'll get that many XP candies. The next feature that you get access to that's really amazing is the judge feature. Like every other Pokemon game, this will show you the IV, the individual value of every Pokemon stat that you have, which you can then hyper train at the Justice Dojo. I have another video on my channel that goes over how to make your perfect Pokemon as well. The next thing that unlocks is when you go to the cortical building, there's going to be a mega shard vendor. Once you beat the game, there's going to be a lot more items you can buy. So you definitely want to come here after the post game and start spending your shards because you're going to need a lot of these items to get your level 50 to get your shiny charm by doing Mabel's research. A lot of mega stones actually get added to the Stone Imperium as well. So you can go check that out and get the stones that you don't have yet for your Pokemon. You can buy all of these with your Poké Dollars, so they're relatively easy to get as opposed to the mega shard farm that you have to do for the cortical building shop. And the final shop, and I would say the most important shop that unlocks, is when you go to the construction building. Inside there will be 2 NPCs in the garage, and you can buy most held items here. With the exception of like the lucky egg and some evolution items, you can get almost every held item here. Next thing you want to do is make sure you're getting all those colorful schools all around the map with the purple Pokeball so you can level up all the canary plushes. You want to max out the red one first so you get the most XP, and then you want to get the gold and the pink next to get more mega shards as well as getting more money. The green plushie gives you more HP so you can take more hits, and the blue plushie makes it so that your chance for catching Pokemon is a lot higher. But in the post game, you definitely want to get all of them unlocked. In the post game, you also get Wild Zone number 20, which is by far the best zone in the game. This is the only zone where you're going to get like Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur shinies. And you can get the shiny version of all the Pokemons that are the starters for Legends Z-A as well. Another reason Wild Zone number 20 is so good is because under the tower, there will always be 2 alphas that spawn, and there's a wide variety that they can be, so you can farm a lot of Pokemon over here. And they can also be shiny. I'm sure you've also seen there's a reset method here you can do, and you can get up to 6 alphas here at once if you want to do that as well. And if you have a turbo controller, you can actually leave it overnight to shiny hunt AFK here because the Wild Zone is so big that when you run around, it resets the Pokemon inside. So in order to accomplish that, just go to the edge of the Wild Zone, and we're going to leave the controller in such a way that you just run against the wall for the whole night. And because the Wild Zone is big enough so that the shinies can respawn again and again, usually when you come back the next day, you'll have some shinies. And talking about shinies, you're going to want to get to level 50 in Mabel's research so you can get your shiny charm. Now, normally you'll only find a shiny every 4,096 Pokemon, but the shiny charm increases it to once in every 1,024 Pokemon. Now, to get the shiny charm in Legends Z-A is an extremely long process because you have to pretty much complete the whole game. The hardest part of this is going to be the 1,000 trainer battles. I have a video on my channel that you can do it overnight if you have a turbo controller as well, which makes it a lot easier. But you want to start working on this right away because it's going to take you an extremely long amount of time to finally get the shiny charm, but it's definitely worth it if you want to be shiny hunting later on. Now, the next thing you want to do is if you haven't been focusing on the online battles, you want to make sure and go in and at least get to rank S. Right now in season number 2, if you get to rank S, you'll get the Mega Stone both for Greninja as well as Delphox. And even if you're not a competitive Pokemon player, it's okay because the fights are very easy, and even if you lose, you do not go down in rank. You only need to win number 1 like twice to get all the way up to rank S, so it's not very difficult. It doesn't take long at all. So some tips I have for you is make sure the Pokemon that you come up with are counters to the current meta. Like right now, Xerneas is in the meta, so you want to bring Steel Pokemon to take care of his Fairy type. You also want to make sure you want to be switching your Pokemon in and out of battle whenever required. So if they're playing Xerneas, make sure you're bringing your Steel type. But if they switch to something that your Steel type is weak to, you can then switch to another Pokemon. And just by doing that, you'll be able to win a lot of your battles. Also, make sure the Pokemon that you start out with has an item held. So a lot of people just bring 3 Pokemon that have Mega Stones online. But remember, you have to build up your Mega Bar before you can Mega Evolve. And you need to do 8 attacks before your Mega Bar fills up all the way. So if one of your Pokemon is holding an item, it makes it a big advantage versus the enemies who don't have an item at all. And this makes it possible so that you can get an early advantage using your held item Pokemon and later on evolve your own Mega and keep that advantage rolling. So for example, in this match, I just brought my regular Dragonite that I farm with, and then I brought a random Steelix as well as my souped up Charizard. And even with these 3 random Pokemon, I had a pretty good team. I won most of my games and I was able to rank up very quickly. So the online competitive game mode in this game is very easy to get into, and the battles don't take long at all. At maximum, they're like 4 minutes long, so it's super fast. You don't have to commit a lot of time. Season 3 online will bring Mega Chestnut, and Season 4 will bring Mega Excalibur, so you want to make sure you want to get those Mega Stones. Now eventually in the post game, you'll get a quest called The One That Gives. And this is is going to be your quest to get Xerneas. The first part of this quest is going to be taking care of 3 different alphas in 3 different zones. You're going to have to fight an Alpha Steelix in zone number 3, an Alpha Galar in Wild Zone number 5, and an Alpha Pangoro in Wild Zone number 9. Once you've beaten all those alpha, you go back to the Pokemon laboratory, talk to Mabel, and she gives you the quest to go to Wild Zone number 11. Now, Wild Zone number 11 is where you'll fight Xerneas. Xerneas is extremely overpowered fairy type Pokemon, so you definitely want to have it on your team whether you're playing in the single player or you're playing online. Now for this fight against Xerneas, you want to bring your highest level Pokemon that you can because it's probably going to be a hard fight for you. To make it a little easier, you can bring steel and poison type Pokemon because that's what Xerneas is weak to. You don't have to worry about failing to catch Xerneas because the game will force you to fight Xerneas again and again and again until you caught Xerneas. So the first time I tried to catch Xerneas here, I failed. He escaped out of the Pokeball, so then the quest resets and you have to fight him again. And eventually you will pass the mission, the one that gives, and then Mabel will give you the next mission, which is called the one that takes. Grisham will give us a quest to go to the Quarticle building. Now, in order to prove that you're strong enough to fight the next legendary, you're going to have to face 3 rogue megas by yourself and defeat them by yourself. So you want to make sure you're bringing a Pokemon that is strong against the Pokemon you're fighting, as well as having a Mega for that. So you have to face a Victory Bell, Havachula, as well as a Mega Tyranitar. Now in order to make this easy, for the Victory Bell, use a Fire, Flying, Psychic, or Ice type. For the Havachula, Flying, Psychic, Electric, or Fairy works very well. And then for the Mega Tyranitar, there's a lot of weaknesses. Fairy, Fighting, Grass, Ground, Water, Bug, Steel are all super effective against him. Once you've beaten those 3 rogue megas, you prove yourself, and then you have the opportunity to catch the next legendary. You're going to come to this part of the map, which is Rogue Sector number 2, and we're going to have to go to the roof of this building, and on the roof will be the next legendary. So you're going to use your parkour skills to work all the way to the roof, and again, make sure you're bringing your strongest Pokemon so you can fight this legendary, and it will be an easy fight. We have to make it all the way to that dome, and then once we go to that dome, we'll have a cutscene where the next legendary shows up. The next legendary you're going to be catching is going to be your Veltel. They're going to land on that dome right there, and then you're going to use your Rotoglide to go over there and fight them. Now this works the same as Xerneas. You're going to have to fight it till you defeat it and then catch it again and again. And for this fight, if you're having a hard time, you can bring a Fairy type because that's going to be extremely effective against him. And again, eventually you beat him down and then you catch him, and then that will finish this mission, the one that takes. Next up, we're going to unlock the Pokemon that you can only get in this game. So once you get the Challenger ticket in the Infinite Z-A Royale, you head over to the Quarticle building, and inside next to the Mega Shard vendor will be the person you talk to get your fight for the night. Now once you head in here, you'll see an NPC in front of you that says check in for reward matches here. This is the person that you want to talk to get your fight. Now once you come here for your 15th fight, you'll fight your rival, and once you beat them, you will finally unlock AZ's Floette. You'll also get its Mega Stone. So this is the first time in any game that you can unlock AZ's Floette, so make sure you do the 15 Night Royale missions you need to do to unlock it finally. Now once you've done all that, head back to Hotel Z because there's somebody outside waiting for us. Now when you show up here, Elder's going to show up and he's going to try to test you. You're going to have to defeat him for the next mission, and he has a full team of level 78s, as well as his final Pokemon is a level 80 Mega Pokemon. I'm not going to spoil what Pokemon he has, but it's a very hard fight, so you make sure you're bringing all your strongest Pokemon for this fight. Now once you fight and defeat him, Zygarde will show up and he'll approve of you, and then you get the next mission to actually catch Zygarde. Zygarde will tell you to meet it underneath Wild Zone number 20 under the tower. So right here we fight Lysander, we defeat him, and then Zygarde shows up, and then we have to go meet Zygarde underneath the Wild Zone number 20 tower. Now you definitely want to catch Zygarde right now because the next season, Season 3, allows you to play Zygarde online, and that's what everybody's going to be doing. He's going to be extremely strong. So for the next step, we're going to head over to Wild Zone number 20. And once you're over here, underneath the tower, instead of the 2 alphas, you'll see Zygarde, and that's what you have to go to do the mission. So you're going to head over there right now. Now for this fight again, you want to bring your strongest Pokemon in order to defeat Zygarde. You're going to have to defeat him 3 times in his 10%, in his 50%, and his full power mode. Now his first 10% mode is very easy, and to make the fight even easier, you can bring a Dragon, Fairy, or Ice type. That's what he's weak to. So you defeat his first form, and then he'll transform into his 50% form, and then he'll transform into his 100% form. So you're going to have to beat him 3 times. His 10% form is not dangerous at all, 50% is a little bit dangerous, and 100% is very dangerous, so prepare accordingly. In each form, he has different moves you need to dodge, but his moves don't really mean anything until his final form, and then finally, after you beat the second time, he transforms into his Mega form for the 3rd fight. If your Pokemon are around level 80, they're going to get 1-shot here. Even my Dragonite is level 100, got 2-shot, so you have to be very careful. He has 2 moves you really need to watch out for. The first move is going to be a big Z on the ground. You have to dodge out of it. He'll pretty much 1-shot you and the Pokemon you have. So the way you know he's going to do that move, he's going to disappear. He's going to disappear, do the move, and then he appears back and does it. The next move he does is all these AoEs on the ground, so you make sure you're dodging out all of them because they can do a lot of damage to you as well. Now for this move, what you need to do is just roll it around and make sure you don't get hit. That way you'll be able to survive very easy. And then for the big AoE Z move, what you have to do is every time he disappears, just call your Pokemon back and stand on the inside of the Z. Now if you're standing in the right spot, I'll show you right here. He goes up, disappears, and then the Z move comes in. You're gonna stand right here, and then you'll take no damage. So once he does that move, just bring your Pokemon back out and you won't die to him. So once you know those two moves, he'll never be able to beat you. The rest of the fight is super easy. Now once you defeat and catch him, he'll be right here and he'll be like, yeah, now I want to join your team. So now you'll get Zygarde and you'll be able to use him in season 3. So that's going to be very good for you. You also want to complete all your side quests because certain items you can only get from side quests. You can't get them from anywhere else. Also, when you defeat 20 challengers in the Infinite Z-A Royale, you will get a side mission that's going to be extremely hard and it's really fun to do. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos like this, and I'm going to be covering the new Mega Dimension DLC whenever that comes out. Make sure you're getting all the content. And another bonus tip, you want to do side mission number 109 for sure, because it's going to give you a lucky egg, which is going to make sure the Pokemon you're training gets bonus EXP.